G'day guys, how's it going? Alright, so in this video I'm explaining how not to get fined by Parks Victoria or most probably some other authority stuff. Now this is all to do with my state here in Australia, state of Victoria. In other states of Australia it may be a little bit different, and obviously in other countries it will be different. So all I can talk about is what happened to me in my home state of Victoria here in Australia. So the Biker Bits community will know what majority of what happened. I got a letter from Parks Victoria asking for a formal interview with them. It was a voluntary thing. I did go down there. I did seek legal representation before doing that. I was told to fall on my sword because clearly they had all the evidence that they needed to fine me for whatever it was. And so I went down there, chatted with them, explained everything. They were after me riding my motorbike in places that I shouldn't, but also another thing, which was me operating a tour company, which clearly I don't operate a tour company. That was explained and all that, and they didn't do that. It could have been a $20,000 fine for me not having a Victorian tour operator's license and going through national parks with a tour thing, making money out of doing that. So what I did get charged with, or what I got fined for, sorry, I wasn't charged. The old short lookers on. So I got a $182 fine, and that was for using single trail tracks to ride a motorbike on by leaving main named tracks, which I did. I didn't realize I was doing anything wrong, but apparently that is. I've learnt a lot since this has happened. The second one was $363, and that was for entered Big Hill area of national parks behind management only gates. Yes, I did that. I explained what happened. It was basically 400 meters. It was a newly signed thing. I won't go into it, but anyway, yeah, I did do the wrong thing, and so they've done me for that. They could have actually got me for a lot more. Now I was caught by I was caught because of YouTube. Basically, the evidence was all on YouTube. It wasn't trail cams or anything like that, or a park ranger or whatever. It was purely my videos. On my videos, I put the day, the time, what the bloody temperature is. I have all the information there. You know, I tell people where I am and all that. So, I mean, I never did this expecting that I was doing the wrong thing. So that's basically what happened. These notices were done on the 13th of the 12th, 2021. It's all been paid, so it ended up costing me close to $1,000. The legal representation cost me $400 for an hour's work. So yeah, it was quite costly, but it could have been a whole lot more worse. So what I wanted to do in this is just to basically tell you how not to get fined in the state of Victoria. And that is, it's basic, no bull mucking around. So you have to be licensed. You have to have a license to be able to ride your motorbike. It doesn't matter what size it is or any vehicle has to be, you have to be licensed. Your vehicle has to be registered, well, whether that's a full registered vehicle or a rec reg, which is recreational registration. Obviously the rec reg has its own bits and pieces, but that's the thing. So licensed, and your vehicle has to be registered. So the next thing is, where can I ride? So you can ride on all public land. So that's parks and roads, obviously, and all that kind of stuff. But here is how you stay safe. So when you're out in the bush, as long as it's got 2 tracks. If it's got just one single track, call it a goat track, a single track, one wheel track, you cannot be on that. And that doesn't matter what park, reserve, bit of cancelled land somewhere, any public area, you cannot do single track. Then obviously, if it's a signed management only vehicle, you can't go there. If it's a seasonal road closed and it's in that season like winter when they do that, and that gate is shut and locked, you can't go on that road. A side note to that is to be wary, because this has happened around here. There are some people that they get a bit overzealous in their what they think they're doing. I don't know, overzealous people wanting to stop people going on these tracks. They will close those gates. So if you find that it's closed and it's not locked and you can open it, and it's not within those known seasonal times, I can't remember exactly, but it's the winter time. I think it's like 3 months where those roads will close. You can open that up and go through. But you've got to make sure you got all you know what you're doing. I just wanted to quickly, so that's basically it. So they talk about they need to be named tracks, but I know there's a bit of a grey area there. But the main thing is if it's got 2 wheels that a car can go on or a 4-wheel drive, you are sweet to go on it as long as it's not signed saying don't go on it. If you stick just to those, you're sweet. If you're riding along and then you see this little single track going off, which is what I would do, I'd see, oh, there's a track. Follow the track, do a bit of single track, cool. Bit of fun. I never stay on them long because it's too slow. Yeah. Anyway, you can't do that. Right. Now, just to even go further on that, so if you're a parent and you've got a 14-year-old or a bloody 4-year-old kid that wants to hop on his little peewee and you want to just do it down on a bit of bushland down the back there, that is actually illegal. You cannot do it because it's public area. You have to be licensed and your vehicle registered. That's it. So the only place you can do is if you've got a block of land that you own, or a mate's block of land, or a designated privately owned motorcycle track or place that you can go on there, and then that's where you've got to ride. Your unregistered or unlicensed person can go. That's it. Now there's a whole lot of it's pretty simple. Now that I've gone through this, I go, well, it is pretty simple. But when you don't know and you haven't been what I've been through, you're kind of like going, well, I didn't know this, and they don't easily tell you that. The only signs that I ever see around here is licensed and registered. They state that on the wooden signs out in those areas. I know they have just one of the last rides I did over, I think, Sedgwick Way or whatever. I've noticed they're starting to change it, and they're actually going stick to form roads, or no single track riding or something. That's not the exact words, but it was clearly saying stay on the form roads, don't go on single tracks. Bloody ripper, that's straight up, you can tell, you can see that, cool. So hopefully they start. Why I'm saying that is because I just don't think that Parks Victoria or those that are in authority for these laws and stuff, they're not educating, they're not putting it out there correctly or making it more accessible. I don't know. I'm going to get back to that. So I've just got a list here of all the different parks and forests and stuff here in Victoria, and this is where it comes to, and every one of them have all different bits and pieces, except when you're riding a motorbike, it's a bit like the robot. You give the robot 4 instructions. First thing is do not harm a human being. And then blah, blah, blah. So there's the base. If you stick to the base, you can do whatever the hell you can be anywhere you want. You're sweet. So in Victoria, there are national parks, regional parks, wilderness areas, and reference areas. And those 2 that I just mentioned they're actually never touched. So that's pristine. Nothing's ever happened. No roads have ever been put in there. No tracks. No mining. So obviously you stay well away from anything that says wilderness area or reference area. Don't go there. State parks, state forests. Now, state forests are actually the best place to ride and camp and all that. As far as I know and what I've been told, the information that I got here actually came from a ranger, not from around here, here in Victoria. And he ran through all these, and I just quickly made some notes when I was talking to him on the phone. He's actually a guy that watches the channel. So state forest, he said that's the best place to go riding your motorbike. In a state forest, you can camp anywhere. You can light up, have a campfire just on the ground. Obviously, when it's the high fire dangers and all that, you've got to abide by those rules. But whereas all these other places, there are different rules where you've got to have it in an actual fire spot, designated spot, and blah. In some places you can't have it. So state forests, state game reserves, flora and fauna reserves, they're highly protected as well, so stay the hell away from those joints. Streamside reserves, roadside reserves, pine forests and blue gum forests. And the pine forest and blue gum forests are actually private owned, but obviously there must be some type of deal or a deal with local authorities that people can ride and travel on the roads and tracks in there. Obviously, you just can't go off those tracks. Now, you can't do single tracks, so obviously you can't go riding through just bush or stuff like that. Obviously, that's something that I never do. But there is a zone on either side of these tracks. You can pull up off the side of the track, but you can't go riding off through there. That's just common sense. So I just thought I'd throw that. But so there's just so many bloody different things there, and all different rules and all that kind of stuff. So when I got the fines come in the mail, this is what I got. This was the educational thing. And now I'm just going to read you, because I said to them when I had that interview, I said, if I'm happy to work with you guys and get the information and then pass it on. Where is it? That's the request. This is the bloody letter that came. I'm just going to read out, a number of factors were taken into account in determining income and your cooperation in assisting on this matter and willingness to educate yourself and your followers in the biker community via your web page and man cave videos on the appropriate behaviours, legislative requirements and registrations was a contributing factor in this decision. At the discretion of the authorised officers that conducted the interview, a lesser enforcement outcome has been considered on this occasion. A brief of evidence resulting in prosecution and a court appearance was deemed not necessary, and infringement notices for two of the detected offences have been issued instead. It is understood by Parks Victoria that this is an opportunity to offer an educational alternative to you as a regular park user and owner of BikerBit's webpage and significant followers in the bike riding community, and it is hoped that you take this opportunity to promote ethical, legal and sustainable bike riding activity in the parks. Cool, and that's great, and that's what I said I'd be happy to work with, and that's what they're saying. They're not, for me to get these lesser fines, I don't have to do this video. This is not, I didn't get off because I was going to do this. I'm just doing this to help you guys out. And, I'm normally sharing every bloody thing I do anyway. Buzz off, fly. So, educating. And so this is where the part of Mark gets a little bit pissed off. It's bloody hot here. This is what they sent me. This is the educational thing that they've given me. This was done in the publication was done in 2010. So this thing's 12 years old, this pamphlet. And it goes through a whole heap of things. It's, what do we got? Choosing the right bike, protect yourself, where can I ride, sound advice, trail bike visitor areas, riding tips, license to ride, registration, tack injury cover. That's an interesting thing when reading through this, was that if you do come off, something that happens on legal places that you can ride, if you have an accident, you are fully covered by Traffic Accident Commission because it's a public road. So I've got this. The problem is it's 12 years old. This was actually done by Department of Sustainability and Environment, DSE, but they are now called DELWP, D-E-L-W-P, which is Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning. Website links in here. Go to the old website. Those links do point you to the new website, but it just takes you to the front page, and then you can't find the information. That pees me off. It's because you're finding people and whatever, but you're not educating people. They've fined me and then said, well, you know, hopefully Mark will educate people. Well, I thought that's their job, isn't it? Look after the place. We want wildlife out there. We want orchids or plants or whatever that are endangered to keep going. We'll educate people so that we know that. I mean, I'm 53 years of age. I should know this shit, but I don't know. One ever told me. There was no billboard somewhere saying, hey, this, or all these places that I ride, there's no signage apart from saying license and registration and registered vehicles only. They're not telling, do you know what I mean? This is what I'm, and so now I've got this 12-year-old booklet with dud bloody image links going to these places. And the other thing that kind of like peed me off is that disclaimer. So this is done by the Department of whatever. It also Parks in association with Parks Victoria, TAC, Police Victoria, Vic Roads, VACC, EPA Victoria, and the list bloody goes on. And here are all these things, right? So these are all the dudes that are making the laws, telling us what's right and wrong. But they have a disclaimer. This publication may be of assistance to you, but the state of Victoria and its employees do not guarantee that the publication is without flaw of any kind or is wholly appropriate for your particular purpose, and therefore disclaims all liability for any error, loss or other consequence which may arise from you relying on any information in this publication. What? So I get fined. I didn't realise, and that's it. You know, pay us your money. But if they do something wrong, well, you can't do anything to them. They've got they're covered. So you're educating us, but you're not backing it up. I'm most probably carrying on like a bloody pork chop. I just think they could, surely they have the time, the money. If they're watching my YouTube videos, they've got time to, like, this is 12 years old. You don't have to reproduce this every year because that would be silly and costly. But we live in a world of websites. They've already got websites. So you put up all the information on the website. If next year something changes, you just go, enter. It's updated instantly. There's no redoing booklets and then trying to get these booklets out everywhere. Put the information on a website or within your website and make it accessible for people like me to find it, because that's what you want to do. You want to educate us, help us educate ourselves. Putting the signs and stuff, like they have these big information signs that are, you know, about the history and what was going on there. A little small corner. Go to this website for rules and regulations of what you can do in this park. It's simple, isn't it? Crazy. So there you go, guys. I was hoping that this was going to be a little bit more educational, but I really, every time I tried to source and find information, it was just it was a shit show. Just dud links, and you couldn't find this, or I'm just trying to figure out just where the proving grounds down here. I know there's a sign that says Bendigo Regional Park. The question I wanted to know was, who looks after the Bendigo Regional Park? all I got was National Park, Bendigo Regional National Park. No, I just want to know because, and that's the thing, the onus is on us to, when we're going somewhere, we have to find out where we are going and what the rules and regulations are. We have to do that before there. And around here, you can go from national park to state park to regional park to just crown land, just like that, you know, in and out. You just don't know. You're just following tracks. And then next minute you're in a national park. If you're not coming in the main way off a main road, but you're coming in through the back way, you have no idea. So you have to get on. I'm going to put up, there's actually, for Victoria this is, here is a link. I'll put a link in the description as well. This is a really good map. Don't ask me how to, there's a lot of information, but it does show you, you can clearly, once you figure out what's the different coloured greens and stuff, you can, just have a look at it, just interest's sake. You might find some use out of it or whatever. Yeah, so there you go. Be careful out there. Try and do the right thing, guys. If you're going to be doing the wrong thing, they do have things like, especially I'd say in the national parks and also the state parks, they do have trail cams. I do know of, and it wasn't even motorbikes, it was actually mountain bikes were done on trail cams. I don't think they were able to find out who they were because they didn't have a license plate, which us motorbike riders do have license plates. So, I mean, I've been doing this for riding around here, most probably 10 years. And it was only now that I got done. So I've apparently been getting away with it. Not that I knew I was getting away with it. For that long, but see, now the world's changing and it's this whole bloody, you know, information and YouTube and Facebook, and we're bloody whacking up our stuff, and then what we're doing is we're going, hey, look, apparently we're not supposed to be doing that, and hey presto, whatever. There you go, guys, that's it. Won't bang on or ramble on anymore. Remember, keep on riding legally, and if you're not riding legally, keep on keeping on.